Hi everybody, it's Julie from Artfully You, and today is week 2 of us discovering X-ray art. So let's go. So I'm just going to be continuing with the blue and purple for now on my 2 flowers. So just a reminder, so we did all of the black outline, and then wherever we wanted our lightest color, which was, for me, it was yellow, I did a white underpainting so that when I put the yellow on, it was more opaque. And then I'm doing the purple, so it's kind of like a ultramarine with a bit of white for the purple. So I'm going to be continuing with that. Unless you want it to be more purpley, I mean, you can put a bit of red in it.
Julie.
Hi.
I've been experimenting with different brushes, and I found these very, very fine ones, and I'm not sure what they're called. They came in sort of packages with a variety of sizes, and for doing these very fine, I have trouble with the very fine painting around these small parts. So I've been trying to use that. And then I just thought, and I ran downstairs and got toothpicks because Susan, remember one of our pieces of work, you said you could use a toothpick. And so I was looking at the bird's eyes, which I haven't done yet. I was thinking, like, for some of them, like the eyes, like a little dot on a toothpick might do it. And also with these little brushes, I've been trying just doing the dot and join the dot kind of thing, instead of trying to do a straight line, because my hand is too shaky.
And that worked for you?
It does for now.
Excellent.
I'd like to learn how to paint it, with a real stroke, but
so the key thing is not much paint on your brush. So I tend to use, for the smaller areas, I'll use one brush for mixing and another brush for applying. So I'll mix the color I want. Don't forget, we don't ever leave our brushes out. And then, but I'll use a different brush for applying.
Okay, those are the ones that I'm using.
Yeah,
they're very, very tiny point. And one is really good because it's a bit thicker. It's not so wiggly at the very tip. It's shorter and thicker.
This is a good one. This is called a shader, and this is a great brush for small areas. Because you see how it's like angle? Really, this is just a flat shader, but you see how it's like short bristles, so you can get quite a lot of precision on that. I'm going to use this round, but as I say, the key thing is not much paint on the end of the brush. I remember when I first started buying brushes, I went to Curry's, the art store, and there was a sign saying, please do not lick the brushes. Because I think what people do to see if the brush is going to work while wet, they lick it to see.
Oh dear.
And apparently it's like, I think that's how Van Gogh got all the poisoning, wasn't it? Because he used to lick his brushes, I heard, or something.
Wow.
That's
I didn't know
gross.
brush licking was a big problem, but apparently it is.
Julie, I find when you're doing these fine parts, like you said, at the end, you can go back with the black Sharpie and make things even up.
Absolutely.
So I'm not being really, really careful doing
Yeah.
small little bits because I know at the end I can fix them with the Sharpie. Was that a reasonable thing to be thinking?
Absolutely.
Okay.
You think like I do.
I
Really
wish.
bugging me why that video isn't working. Like don't know why. It must have got corrupted on the upload. I spent like, I'm not kidding, I spent 2 days on that video.
It was at the in the middle to the end part versus the beginning.
I did speed up some parts that were just a bit boring, but I thought I'd muted the voice on it while I'd speeded it up.
Right.
So I had speeded it up where it was just, I was very slow and there was lots of pauses. Because I
Right.
thought you're gonna die of boredom watching this.
Watching paint dry.
Yeah, literally watching paint dry. But I thought I'd, muted so maybe I forgot to mute it, but I'm sure I didn't. So I'm now curious because I'm like, oh, that's it. Because even my husband said, you're still working on that video, and like, because I have to listen to the whole thing and then cut and paste all of the chit chat out,
Mm.
Well, if it's easier, we could just speed up through the chit chat, but sometimes the chit chat, well, I'm more of a novice. But that could work too. Watching you is important. And then I see the brush when you hold it up and that kind of thing, even without the word, is helpful for me.
So the reason why I have to take the chit chat out is confidentiality, because I'm trying to protect your faces, because it's going in the public domain. Because do you remember when I tried to password protect it, you couldn't open it?
Right.
But the other reason is YouTube will only allow a certain amount of time for video. So it can't be 2-hour long video. See what I mean? Because it won't upload.
Yep.
So that's why I spend ages editing them. Because my Zoom account is just too full now. I can't share it directly from Zoom. I've got to delete some videos and I don't want to delete ones I haven't uploaded yet. So that's why I'm using YouTube. It's complicated.
Oh, I can't imagine. I couldn't begin to think how I would ever do it.
It takes, seriously, for a 2-hour class, it takes me 2 days to put the video on for you.
Well, speaking for myself, I don't usually use the video. I
Right.
hate to be spending all that time on something that I don't know how many people use it, but just speaking for myself.
How many people use it? Because
I do.
it does take a long time.
Yeah.
I go back to it.
I'm okay for the start, but probably the second half is what I listen to the most, because that's when I'm I have to stop rushing, because sometimes I rush to keep up and then I make mistakes and then I have to go back and sort of try to fix it.
Do that a lot.
Second half, the second half for me is more helpful. But I also know that I'm a novice compared to everybody here.
I'm learning.
We all are.
Yeah.
Well, it's useful putting them on YouTube because then my seniors class at the seniors center, I can give them the link and say, oh, I actually recorded this one with my other class if you want to watch it. So I know they appreciate it. So it's not just, you know, it's useful to have that as a reference for other people.
Well, and would other people that are searching for classes look at those and then see, oh, she does go step by step. This is how she,
Yeah, it's a little
She
bit of a
does it.
promo as well. Yeah.
yeah, because I mentioned last time about my sister going on a whole different approach with a open studio. So different approaches would appeal to different people.
Yeah. How's she finding it? Is it going well?
Oh, she loves it. She says she really gets into the zone. Yeah, she really likes it. She likes the in-person more. For her, that she really craved that. She lives on
Yeah.
a farm. They go into the city a lot, and she's had other jobs in the city, but she's a very sociable person. So for her, it really works.
Yeah, me too. That's why I enjoy going to the senior center because you know, 2 years of working down in my dungeon, it's nice to kind of go out and see some real human, like, not that you're not real humans, and I do love you guys very much, but I have
Keep
to, I have
going,
to put-
Julie.
If you
I
saw
didn't want to
what-
say that you're not real humans. I do, that came out completely wrong.
if you saw my hair and what I'm wearing, you may take that back.
And it is, this class is very handy because it means I can get Dean on the bus, run downstairs, get everything set up, and I'm ready for you, because I don't honestly know if we were in person how I would get to somewhere quickly enough after getting him on the bus. So
And I don't know how I'd pack up my stuff and get somewhere. You know, there's lots of stuff, and then you think of something afterwards, like today. Oh, I needed the orange paint. Why didn't I? You know, or a different canvas or something like that.
I always bring spare stuff with me though.
Oh,
So-
okay.
Yeah, I always bring spare things. So one thing I would suggest is whenever you are experimenting with brushes and you suddenly find the perfect brush, put a little bit of electrical tape around it so you remember that that's your pointy brush, your special brush, because otherwise it'll get lost in your assortment of brushes again and you'll be like, where's that special brush gone?
That's a
That's
good
my
idea.
That's my top tip.
Yeah, that's a very good idea.
Right, when everybody's ready, I'm going to start with red because it's going to be a lot of red in this.
There seems to be 2 colors of red in the original.
Yep. There's like a pinky red
Yeah.
and a reddy red. And if you think about tint, tone, and shade, whereas the center purple is, the outside is just tinted, it's just adding white to that center ultramarine color. So if you think about the pinks, the reds, they are basically the same color, it's just they've added white to and a tiny bit of yellow to. So the yellow that's in the middle, they've just warmed up that red with a tiny bit of yellow to make it more orangey, but this red is the pure red but with a tiny bit of white to make it more pinky. So they're still using the same colors, just using that tint, tone, and shade. But you can do whatever colors you like. Oh, this is a good brush. I'm gonna have to put some tape around this one. But I like the idea. Who said about the toothpick? That's a great idea.
Oh, that was Susan Brandt's idea
Yeah.
from one of our paintings some time ago. And it occurred to me, and I ran downstairs just now to get some toothpicks from the kitchen. That was a great idea, Susan.
Thank you, Leanne. I don't remember it, but if
Take credit for it anyway.
but chopsticks and other things also it have different ends with different bluntness.
That's a good idea.
Years and years ago, I did a class with a person who does that New Zealand Maori dot art.
Yeah.
Oh,
She's got
nice.
a whole slew of like wood things for dipping your paint in and doing dots of every size you can think of.
Hi, Jean.
Hi.
So the red does tend to be a little bit more transparent unless you add a bit of yellow to it. So we just might need 2 layers on the red. So I'm gonna put 1 layer on, let it dry, and then put another layer on. But yeah, definitely gonna put some tape on this brush to remember this is a good brush. Whenever you find a good brush, I do like to put a little bit of tape on to identify it as that's a good brush, because it's hard. You go through a lot of brushes until you find your favorite. Jean, were you able to get the video from last week?
Yes.
Okay. Was it okay, or some people saying they were having some corruption issues with it?
There was a few issues.
So
I had just carried on, and just completed it kind of the way I thought you were doing the work.
right.
And so today I see that you are continuing with the painting itself from last week.
Yeah.
Okay.
This will be week 2. So we do 1 painting every
2 weeks.
2 weeks. Yeah.
Super. Well,
So
I'm going to leave you, and then I'll see, there'll be a recording of this week's going to be sent, right? Okay,
Yeah.
super.
Yeah. So,
Then.
but you're welcome to stay if you want.
Well, it's not the best internet, and I'm standing close to the main house that provides internet to the cottage.
Right.
So rather than being there, I'll go back where it's nice and warm.
Oh yeah, no problem. We don't want you getting cold. So I'm gonna say I don't understand what happened, because it looked fine my end when I uploaded it, and I spent 2 days putting it together. So I'm gonna go through it again, find out why it was corrupted, let you enjoy your cottage, and I will repost. What I'll do is I'll merge these 2 videos together, so it's just one video. If YouTube will let me put one on that's that long, and then it's all together. So yeah, and then next week, so all we've done is we've pre-painted next week's with an plain orange background. So whatever you,
Orange
when you
background.
join us next week, we're just painting the canvas orange. That's it.
Perfect.
Okay,
Thank you.
great. We will
Have a
see
good
you
day.
next week.
Okay.
Bye, Jean. Enjoy
Bye.
the cottage.
And the rain.
And the colors. They're still
Oh,
like
the colors
beautiful colors.
Just starting. So it's quite nice. So
Lovely.
thank you.
I'm afraid to talk now, Julie, when you say how long it takes you to edit these videos.
No, don't be afraid to talk. It's fine. What I do is I leave it running and I'll like fold laundry while I'm listening to it. I do multitask while I'm doing it. But it's yeah, I have to like split the video up and then just chop out bits, and then if I feel like the chit chat is it's too revealing about individual people, but the actual painting part is useful, then I'll just put some music over the top. It's fine. I honestly don't want you to stop talking. It's just it's just I was trying to say if there are mistakes, it's purely because maybe I missed something while I was, or it just uploaded a bit iffy. I have had it before where it's just been a little bit corrupted for some reason.
We won't tell our deep, dark secrets then. At least we won't have to worry.
That's okay, but you know what? You'd have to just
that.
send me some money to
Oh,
pay me off to not leave it in the video. Oh, Susan,
dear.
thank you for your
blackmail.
thank you for your lovely card, Susan. I wanted to say. I love getting snail mail. I don't get snail mail very often. You can speak. It's okay. Please don't be afraid to speak. Then you're just gonna leave me with this silence. There's that was one thing I found during the pandemic. Sometimes when I was doing a corporate class, everybody was so used to muting themselves. Nobody said a word. I'm like, is everybody still there? Especially when they didn't have their cameras on. I'm like, I have no idea. It's hard, like teaching to a completely blank screen with no voices, no faces. And like, I don't like it. My personality doesn't suit the lack of feedback.
I was just thinking about snail mail. I had to send some certified documents to Australia. It's a long story. So I paid an absolute fortune, posted from here to Australia. It had a tracking number. 10 weeks it took to send.
No.
Yep. It was just, I can't tell you.
Yeah.
So I don't know what's going on, because it used to be no more than 10 days.
I sent there's a standard joke that whenever I try and send my dad's birthday present in November, it goes missing. It goes on a little adventure. And it doesn't seem to matter if I send it tracked or whatever, it just disappears.
Yeah.
And the last parcel he got, I think in February, and I'd posted it kind of now to arrive in November.
Yeah.
And it was really, really battered and crumpled, and I'm like, I'd really like to know this package's story. Like, did it end up in like Tokyo for a bit, or like where is it? Like, did it get lost underneath a postman's seat in his van? Like, I just want to know the story of this like package, and
You could
what
write a book.
adventure did this package go on?
You can put trackers in things. They interviewed a woman who had a tracker in her luggage.
Oh,
and
I'm
she
gonna
could
do that.
see
Yeah.
where it was going around the world. It was amazing.
Yeah.
I was thinking about putting trackers in my luggage because you know, things just go missing and then
I mean, this was long before COVID. We went on a family holiday to Mexico for Christmas. And so I wanted some nice clothes for just Christmas dinner. And it was a direct flight from Ottawa to Cancun. My baggage went to Heathrow and arrived on late day 5 of a 7-day trip. So I was wondering, the only clothes I had was my son's Raptors t-shirt
oh,
and my daughter's flip-flops. So all the Canadians down there knew every day I'm wearing this Raptors t-shirt.
oh my God.
So they knew my luggage hadn't arrived. And so all I could fit in the carry-on was a bathing suit and 2 pairs of underwear that had to be washed every day.
Oh
And
my gosh.
Oh, boy.
That happened to my friend. Her family came over to visit a few years ago and their luggage didn't turn up till the last day and they were with us for just over a week. So we've managed to fully kit them out with the combination of my clothes and Ken's clothes. But they had these teenage sons who were quite tall and yeah, it was a little bit challenging because they were tall and skinny, you know. Well, that's Aer Lingus, but Aer Lingus is renowned for losing luggage. So I'm gonna have to cut that out of the video now. I might get sued by Aer Lingus.
Oh.
So I'm gonna have to put another layer of red on this, but it's starting to come together. Heather, I love the colors you chose for yours.
Oh, I tell you, I just choose my favorite colors because I have no color sense. Like I know what I like and just don't tell me to use something I don't like.
Well, you've done very well so far with using instinctive colors.
Well, thank you. But I have used the reds with the purple, so that'll be interesting to see once it dries.
Yeah.
It reminds me of that group of ladies who, I don't know what they're called, but they wear red hats and purple clothes. It's a group, like some sort of club.
Yeah, I've done a couple of painting events for them, and I think they are called the Red Hat Ladies.
Oh, okay.
I've been on cruises with the Red Hat Ladies, and there'll be a big group of them, and they're laughing and they're having so much fun. Like you can follow them anywhere through the ship because they just are really having fun.
Well, that's what it's all about, right, Leanne? Having fun.
Yes.
I've got a Red Hat Lady story, but I'd have to cut out the video, so I'll save it for another time. Unless I pause the recording.
Oh.
I had an interesting experience.
A positive or a negative?
I'm gonna have to cut it out the recording.
Better make sure none of us are Red Hat ladies.
Yep, not me.
That's why I'm not saying anything. That's why I'm being Switzerland on this one. You can always talk to me privately. Oh. So I'm gonna see if I can get the lid off my pinky red. Oh yes, I can. There we go. Oh, this is pretty old. Don't know if this is gonna be usable. Oh no, looks okay. So this is like a pinky red. It's not really an alizarin, it's called a rubine red. But if you wanted to make this, you'd just take alizarin and a fair bit of white. I'm just using it because I have it. Should have done a white under painting for this. It's very transparent.
Julie, how's Dean enjoying school this year?
Oh, he's loving it. Thank you for
that's
asking.
good.
Yeah, he just loves it. It's so nice that he gets excited to go on the bus.
Yeah.
You know, he loves school. And it's nice because he has the same teacher, but they've mixed the class up a bit. So he's got the consistency of the same teacher, but some nice new people in his class. So that's nice, making new friends, and yeah, really nice. Yeah. And he comes to my kids' class on a Saturday, and he's loving that as well.
Good.
So yeah, he's, I'm relieved he's very happy in school, you know, because it was such a big thing for him, the pandemic, because, you know, he just started JK, and then, you know, and then he was at home, and you know, I was quite concerned about how he would adjust socially being back in school, but last year he was quite shy. I think he found it challenging.
Yeah.
This year he was a lot more confident going back to school because he knew he had the same teacher.
Yep. Yep.
And he, you know, he seems to have some very nice friends. So, you know, last year he'd come home saying he played by himself because he was too shy to go up and approach anybody, you know, and you know, you don't want to hear that.
No, you don't.
But this year he discovered a group of kids playing baseball at recess, and he's been practicing really hard every morning with Ken and well, and myself, I'll be waiting for the school bus, and now he takes his little baseball glove into school, and
Oh,
You're breaking my heart listening to him trying so hard to fit in.
I
He-
know it's
And
like,
he's such a sweet
oh,
child, Julie.
he's so, I know, he's so sweet. He's he never wants to upset anybody, or you know, he is pretty sensitive. You know, and if ever I hurt myself, like if I stub my toe or something, he comes running up and gives me a big hug, and he's like, it's okay, it's okay. You know, like as if he's the adult, like it's okay, just breathe. Like, it's so sweet. But we worked on it a lot over the summer, and I said, you know, there's probably a lot of other kids who are by themselves and want someone to play with. So I want you to be the one that goes up and, you know, makes other kids feel good about themselves. And I
oh,
think
that's
that
good.
That's
Yeah.
really good for you.
because he had this one best friend last year, and when the one best friend was playing with other kids, he just sat on his own.
Oh,
And
it's a learning process for kids.
yeah,
Oh, is it?
So,
but I didn't have a great experience at school, so I really wanted him to have a better experience, you know.
right. Of course.
Because it takes up so much of your time.
Oh yeah. So I tried to get him in more activities this year, because I do think the pandemic kind of set him back a bit with, you know, being put in a situation where he's meeting
Yeah. Yeah.
new friends. And so I've put him in scouts on a Tuesday and karate on a Thursday, and then he comes and does my kids class, and he is really coming out of his shell.
That's great.
Yeah.
He's what, grade 1?
Grade 2 now, yeah.
2. Yeah, that's good.
So quickly.
Oh, do they ever?
And I've agreed to volunteer at his school teaching art classes, so that'll be nice.
I found that was a great way to get to see firsthand what the dynamics of what's happening in the class.
Yeah.
I mean, my son, who's now in his mid-30s, I volunteered to do computers in his JK class.
Oh yeah.
And it really, I put him in private school the next year.
Oh, seriously?
The class was back then around 35. It was just massive, and he was, you know, they had said they thought he might be a bit ADD, you know, and so, you know, you're just lost. And and he was a late fall baby, so he was
Oh.
young in the class. And
Oh, poor guy. And how did the private school work out for him?
it was worth every cent, even though it drained the savings. It was like having him in university for all those years too. Like people used to say, well, why would you put a grade 1 kid in private school? Wait till middle school. Like a lot of people move into grade 7.
Right.
His whole attitude towards school will be formed in those early years, like 1, 2, 3. And he had a great attitude about school, and he didn't fall between the cracks or
Right.
whereas my daughter didn't need that.
Right.
Plus, being in Ottawa, everybody's obsessed with their kids speaking French, and boys don't do as well. So all the French immersion cream skins, you know, the more enriched program, and everybody who's not in French immersion are kids who tend to struggle a bit more. So,
Right.
you know,
Can't get this pink right. I think I'm gonna have to do a lighter pink and then go over it again because it's not showing up with this blue background. So it's not gonna stay this pink. I'm just doing an underpainting.
So it's gonna happen.
I'm finding with the reds that I have to, like I'm doing 3 layers
Yeah,
over the turquoise back.
you might find it useful to do a white
It's,
underpainting.
plus- yeah, I've sort of got so far now. I have to
Yeah,
just
I
keep
know. I'm like
going,
that
but
too.
that would
Yeah.
be a good idea for the next time.
Yeah.
The other thing is, I think, well, I don't know, I'll wait and see, but I feel like the turquoise was a bit too dark.
Right.
But I'm not sure. I'll see how once I have the yellow in it, I think that'll brighten up and a bit of pinks.
Right.
It'll brighten it up, I think. So I'll just wait and see.
It also helps to dry it because you know, wet paint's always hard to cover, you know.
Yes, that's true. Yes, I should probably use the dryer more.
I'm gonna hair dry mine for a second. I'll just mute myself.
That's bad.
Julie, what is the history behind this type of painting? It always seems to be an indigenous type of art.
Yeah, yeah. So I can read some information I found, which I think I actually put into the original listing, but I'll find it again. So it actually dates back to a prehistoric art form in which animals and humans are depicted by drawing or painting the skeletal frame and internal organs. And then hold on. So this piece is influenced by Noval Moriso, born in 1932 until 2007. He was also known as Copper Thunderbird. He was an indigenous Canadian artist known as the Picasso of the North. He created works depicting the legends of his people, the cultural and political tensions between native Canada and European traditions. His style is characterized by thick black outlines and bright colors. He founded the Woodland School of Canadian Art and was a prominent member of the Indian Group of Seven. Initially, he painted on any material that he could find, especially birch bark and moose hide. The subjects of his art in the early period were myths and traditions of the Anishinaabe people. He is acknowledged to have initiated the Woodland School of Native Art, where images similar to the petroglyphs of the Great Lakes region were now captured in paintings and prints.
On another topic, well, two things. One is I think it was really fortunate that we're doing some Indigenous art from a Canadian renowned Indigenous artist at the same time that this is the week of the National Truth and Reconciliation Day, when we honor the Indigenous people and their history and culture, in particular the murdered missing women and girls, and the residential experience that's had the trickle-down effect for many generations.
Yeah.
So I just think it was really great. So then that sparked an idea that remember, I know Kathy, maybe Jane, we submitted to our CFUW newsletter some samples. I think I collected, it was sort of a last minute thing.
Right.
I collected, because there's a deadline for the newsletter for the last week of the month to come out the first of the next month. So I had a deadline. So I just asked people, anyone, do you want to submit things, different shapes and orientations? And then our editor can figure out what, fits in nicely. So she chose 3. And I do remember that Kathy, that how you do that really nice background. I think you have it on this painting too, with a little bit, it looks almost like the sponge painting or something like that, that people did in their houses. I really loved those backgrounds. Anyway, I remember that was one of the ones that 3 fit in her layout. So, but it was, it was really good. And it was, the the spring. But now I'm thinking, okay, I think people might not be wanting to take on new things, you know, as summer coming up and we sort of take a break. But I'm thinking now, if I make the October newsletter
Yeah.
and had some paintings, especially if anyone has an you know, this one that they feel, you know, it will be finished. I think the deadline with our editors is either tomorrow or the next day. And if Julie, if you have any sense ahead, if after in November, if you're doing any other series, the
Yeah.
Oops to Awesome or
Yeah.
anything else,
Yeah.
that we might put in a word that if you, I don't know if, like, I liked how we did it last year where we had 4 the late November, December, and then
Yeah.
we did 4 in January, and it
Yeah.
was nice. We had a little break, but we still were moving forward and not
Yeah.
getting too far removed.
I'd love to do that. How would I get that? What do you need from me to get it in on time?
Okay, so if you have something in mind for let's see now, this would be the first week of October. So anything that starts in November, say,
Yeah.
and if it's another split or if it's a 6, I think you'd sort of need at least 6 weeks or maybe 8 weeks. And so I don't know what you're scheduling and what works for you.
Yeah.
But if you have a sense, or even just, well, I think if people have the dates, because some people are still going away.
Yeah.
And then if they have your contact information, and if we have some examples of the work we've done, it's sort of sparked some interest. And the nice thing too is many members are doing some in-person, and also we have 10 brand new members to the club, as well as 2 that took were on hiatus for the 2 years of you know, the really acute pandemic. So I just thought that would be a really nice idea, and it would make us feel good too.
Yeah.
And raise our profile and your profile.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah, I love that idea. So when do you need it by?
Well, if I say Wednesday, and I will contact our editor right after class and see if that's okay, because I have a feeling the deadline is tomorrow. But usually if she knows something's coming and about how much room I would need, she saves me space.
Yeah, absolutely.
If
I think she wanted some money
possible.
last time, so I don't mind paying for it if I'm going to get some new people. You know.
I wasn't really thinking of having the ad in, but more that this is an interest group within the club. That's what I was thinking.
Oh, yeah.
But then, you know, the advertising might, I don't have any idea what it is, but that's the other thing I could ask, if they think it's better to do it as you advertising your whole service, the whole range with your website, which could be appealing because you do sketching and lots of other things too.
Because I know there was an email that I saw from Karen, and she was replying to the editor saying, "Oh, I don't think Julie's doing anything specifically just for CFUW this time, but I'm happy to do it. Like I just so I'm happy to do it." I think she thought I wasn't doing it, but I just hadn't thought that far ahead yet. But I'm very happy to do it. So Wednesday I'll just I'll pull my socks up and get that organized for Wednesday. I think I just need a little bit of accountability, you know.
In what way?
I think I was thinking, oh, I'm going to get round to it, but if the deadline's Wednesday, I'll just I'll get on with it and do it.
Well, you can think about it. I didn't mean to catch you by surprise.
No, no, I
but
was thinking about it. I just hadn't. I always leave things a
Okay.
little bit late to advertise. So yeah, I'll do it.
And
What I'm saying,
actually-
Leanne, is can you please bully me and make me do it?
Okay, all right. Okay. All right, 6 o'clock Wednesday night. No, well, okay, we'll give you till, because I know you're a night owl. We'll give you till 10 o'clock Wednesday night, and
Okay.
I'll tell our editor that's when I'll have something.
Okay, I'll write it in my diary now.
And if anybody wants to anyone who wants to just put a couple testimonial statements, that's something that we could include in.
Oh, that would be great for me too.
If anybody of you would be willing to do that and able to just do just even one sentence, and I could just
Send it to you, Leanne.
yeah, send it to me by Wednesday, we'll say 10 p.m., but earlier, of course, is better. And then if anyone has, especially, I'm really keen if there's something that's Indigenous, since that's what this week is. I mean, I know the newsletter comes out about October 1st, but still, it's just, let's keep it conscious, keep this whole TRC calls to action conscious all the time, right?
Yeah.
Not just in this
Yeah.
national observance special
So
day.
there is a reason why I didn't label this Indigenous art.
Yes.
So I'll explain why. So I did do a similar theme in a kids class a few years ago. And I had a parent at the end of the class come up to me and say, was I from an Indigenous background? And I said, no, I'm from the UK. And she was offended that I was teaching Indigenous art and I wasn't Indigenous.
Oh my
So I've
God.
been very careful to not offend.
Julie, there was a similar incident on CBC radio where this young Toronto artist was inspired, non-Indigenous artist was inspired by Morso. She adapted the style and did her own creations. And CBC radio is good at interviewing local artists and stuff. And then she was having an exhibit, and there was such backlash. And they interviewed another Indigenous person who just said, "This is ours." She had to cancel the exhibit because of all bad press.
So the way I've rephrased it is, I'm appreciating this style of art because it's something I do appreciate, the same way I appreciate Van Gogh and Monet and other artists. So I've been very careful on the wording that we are appreciating X-ray art, because it's also been found in other cultures across the world, this style of art with the black outline. But I have been very conscious that I'm not promoting it as Indigenous art. You do have to be really careful. I just don't want to. I mean, I did run it by the Art Society, and I took it to the board, and the way they said it was, if I was doing a course on appreciating Monet or, you know, Rembrandt or any of the, I wouldn't have to be related to the family or from that era, you know what I mean? But,
Right. Yeah.
But it is a very delicate subject, and I definitely don't want to offend. I just want to say that I love the use of color. I love how they put, and I'm kind of reverse engineering it to get a greater appreciation of the care and time and thought that goes into it. So definitely never want to offend. I just want to say how much I enjoy it.
And that
Just what
is really a good way to reframe it. I know that there is a sensitivity. It's called cultural misappropriation or some,
Yeah.
there's a terminology. An author, Joseph Boyden, got in trouble because he was representing himself as Indigenous when in fact, I guess it was a mixed heritage. So it is a sensitive issue, but I wouldn't, okay, so I wouldn't use the word. Well, whatever words you send to me as promotion, then I would do that. And maybe then if anyone will volunteer to do a testimonial, one sentence, and not mention that specifically, but just talk
Yeah.
about the style of art.
Just I would say more about the style of art.
Does it have to be style? Because we've done a few different courses.
Yeah.
Yeah, Leanne, I'll get something to you by Wednesday.
You
Oh, thank
understand
you.
how I'm trying to be very careful on this one, right?
Oh, absolutely.
And I think it's a shame you have to be.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
have opinions about this, and I'm sure a lot of you do, but I think it's
But Julie, every culture has, and every artist is inspired by different
Yeah.
work. When you were doing the history of the X-ray art,
Yeah.
it was interesting whoever wrote that, where more so was labeled the North Picasso. I mean,
Yeah.
that just shows how European centric our
Yeah.
views are. Picasso stole ruthlessly from African art as an
Yeah.
inspiration. So,
Yeah.
you know, so that makes it sound like Picasso, you know, was
Yeah.
originator, where he
Yeah.
was, it was he was very influenced by African art
Yeah.
throughout his life. So anyways, I was just going to make that comment after you did your history
Yeah.
of the
well, you know, every creative endeavor is motivated or stimulated by some outside
Yeah.
action. So everything is connected.
Yeah.
You know, so you don't just come up with usually with an idea
exactly.
of blue.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm definitely not stealing this or calling it my own. I'm just saying that I appreciate it and I wanted to understand how it was formed, and yeah.
You've done that all along though, Julie.
Yeah.
Oh, and, you know, telling us, you know, how, giving us information because you've gone through the exploration of finding out and everything, and then trying to do it, or, you know, some replica thereof. And you've been always able to tell us, you know, like you always say to, if you're doing something, to make sure you give people their dues.
Yeah.
You know, if we're trying to replicate in that.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's just, it's a tough situation.
Yeah. And you know what? I didn't go near this style of art because I was so upset by the experience.
Oh, I bet.
For a number of years, I didn't go near it. And then I thought, but I love this type of art. I want it on my walls. I want to give recognition to. So this is I did debate a lot about doing this course.
I bet.
And any potential repercussions. So I really thought very carefully about the wording, but I feel like I want to bring this style of art, you know, to my students and my appreciation for it. So yeah, just it was delicate. I did think very long and hard about it before.
We appreciate it.
And it's unfortunate that it is that sensitive, that you just can't jump in with both feet and love it and do it. And,
yeah.
Where did you come up with the word X-ray art? Was that yours?
I Googled it.
Anyone else?
I was trying to find out what the style was actually called officially. So I did a lot of reading.
Well, I'm glad you did choose it because when I first saw it, I really wasn't sure whether I was going to join the class because I really, I would never look at these pictures because they offended me, and not offended me, but didn't interest me at all. But I really have appreciating the effort and how wonderful they are, really, just from the 2.5 hours we've been working on it.
Yeah. I'm so glad. It's it's an unusual form of art, it's different, and but I feel like it's very playful and very enjoyable. And that's why I decided to come back to it. I can't avoid it just because one person,
Right.
kind of was upset.
But if a lot of artists stopped producing because somebody didn't like what they were doing, it'd be a pretty dull world. It'd be a pretty dull world because there would be no creativity. There's always going to be somebody who doesn't like what you're doing.
Yeah.
But in the case of that OCAD student who tried to have a whole gallery showing of her work inspired by that, like her art future was almost
over.
From that.
Which is such a shame, I think, it's probably very innocent.
She in her interview before it all blew up, she was just so enthusiastic. It was about the style and
So what's the next story to that? Did she never go back to it, or what's happened?
The CBC subsequently reported the exhibition had been canceled because of the backlash.
And how long?
The gallery that was going to show her art, they just canceled the show.
So how long ago was this?
It might a bit before COVID.
Oh, okay.
Not too long.
I wonder what stage she's at now, whether she's realizing, as we're discussing, how unappreciative it is of somebody of taking your style and taking their own interpretation of it. I can't see why you wouldn't be complimented. Anyway, crazy world we're in, I'll tell you.
Right.
I mean, I have students copying my exact paintings because I've taught them and posting them on Instagram, and I find it's a compliment because they liked my style enough to want to reproduce it.
Yeah.
And to learn my method, and and I do tend to, if I'm influenced by an artist, I do tend to say, oh, I was influenced by this person. We do try and give credit to.
Yeah.
Like, I'll say, a lot of my style is influenced by Lauren Harris. Some of my more, my mountains, but I always say I got my inspiration from, and especially when I post it, I'll say like, this was my creation from my photographs, but I was influenced by the style of whoever it was.
Yeah.
With musicians and whatnot, you subliminally pick up things up. You may not even know where the spark of inspiration came from.
Yeah. Yeah, they reckon all the greatest pop songs in the world. Somebody did a mash of all of the pop songs that have been in the charts over the years, and basically it's the same 4 chords.
Yep.
So back to my question, does anyone else have a 1-sentence testimonial besides Heather?
I'll send something to you, Leanne.
Is that Kathy or Jane?
Yeah. Mhm.
Who it was Kathy?
Yes, it's Kathy. I'll send you something, Leanne.
Okay. Oh, thank you, Kathy and Heather. That's great. Okay, and then anyone else who has a piece, like even, well, I don't know if we want to do our Monet or anything else. That the ones I included last time were mostly from the Winter Wonderland series we did. I think that was, and the
You're breaking up, Leanne.
the Northern Lights I submitted. Yes, so the last time it was newsletter submissions were included were from the Winter Wonderland series late last fall in January. So if we have anything since then, that would be great.
You mean paintings?
Yes, if you have a painting from, say, the spring or summer, or
Yeah.
even this month, so that it's something different.
And does it have to be something we did with Julie?
I think would be best.
Okay.
Inspired by Julie.
Maybe inspired by me. Yeah, I don't mind.
Yes, it was inspired. It was inspired.
Well, we could even.
I really like that folk art that we did, of the mountains and the road going through.
Yeah.
Did a couple of other folk art.
Oh, yes. That was beautiful. I remember that one.
Okay.
So that
I'll send you a couple and you
was
can decide.
an abstract. I think that
Okay.
was abstract. Well, I'll send them to Pat, and depending on the orientation and the size, whatever fits her formatting. So if she has a few choices, then she can fit them in, especially since it's last minute. Well, sort of last minute. Yeah. I think she's
Leanne,
used
our
Yes?
experiment with the oil-based Sharpie? I've
Yes.
hair dried it, and it's an hour, and it's still totally wet.
Oh, so not such a good idea.
Not such a great idea.
Okay, well, thank you for doing that.
Oil
we
can
know.
take weeks to dry.
Yeah. I'm starting to learn that.
I missed that. What wasn't a good idea?
I used an oil-based Sharpie for
Oh,
touching up the white on another piece, just as an experiment. But it's proving that it takes a very long time to dry. Yeah, when I first started looking at this style of art, I thought that looks easy.
right.
And it's not.
Oh, I was overwhelmed when I looked at it. How will we ever do that? But you did break it down step by
Thank
step.
you.
It's really helpful.
Julie, do you do anything on seascapes?
I do. I've got loads. Yeah. And I've got some recordings on YouTube as well. Lots and lots. Yeah, I like doing waves. Yeah, we can definitely build that into the next one. So I think some of you have done some of my
we did the Monet seascape, and then we did the other one with the sandy beach and the waves and the grasses on the beach.
And the
Yeah.
lighthouse?
Yeah, the
On the
lighthouse. Yeah,
Up to the rocks.
I'm teaching that one this afternoon, the lighthouse.
Look, Julie, you should say, I like making waves.
I like making waves. Excellent. Good one.
The double meaning.
Good one. Well, I hope you enjoyed today's session. I really enjoyed painting with you today. I can't wait to start week 3 of our Discovering X-Ray Art next week. So don't forget to watch the first video before you watch this one. The link will be in the YouTube link, and I will see you next week. Bye, everybody.